probably heard of bearded dragons, leopard geckos, ball pythons, all the normal beginner reptiles that you see on every video. Today, I'm going to show you 5 beginner reptiles that you have never heard of. And make sure to stick around because these are some of my absolute favorites. And the last one is my personal favorite turtle that you have to stick around to see what it is. First up today is going to be a relative of the widely commonly kept blue-tongued skink. And its cousin's name is the pink-tongued skink because the pink-tongued skink has a pink tongue. They are awesome animals. They are a little bit smaller than the blue-tongued skink. They have a more arboreal nature than their ground-dwelling cousins. So the pink-tongued skink, just like the blue-tongued skinks, do also come from Australia, ranging between 15 to 20 inches when they're full grown. They have a similar diet, omnivorous diet. They'll eat fruits, plants, and they will occasionally eat some protein, some usually in the form of bugs, some sort of insects, roaches in captivity. One of the main differences is they come from a subtropical area, so they like a bit more humidity than their grassland or arid cousins, the blue-tongued skinks. They have not been kept and bred in captivity as long as the blue-tongued skinks, which means that they are slightly less handleable than the blue-tongues. They aren't as quote-unquote puppy dog tame as blue-tongued skinks. They're starting to become more popular when if you go to any of the larger reptile expos. You should be able to find someone, at least 1 or 2 vendors that have these pink-tongued skinks. If not, you can go on places like Morph Market or Fauna Classifieds, one of those online sites where you're almost guaranteed to be able to find pink-tongued skinks. So next time you're in the search for a skink, skip the blue tongue and why don't you try the pink tongue? Next, we are going to have a cousin of one of these guys right here. This is Hermes. He is one of our leopard geckos. Now, the animal I'm suggesting instead of a leopard gecko, he wants to come out and say hi. Everybody say hi to Hermes. He's one of our longest kept animals here. He actually belonged to my wife before we even met. A lot of leopard geckos are very calm and tame like this. He's pretty chill. But the other animal that I'm suggesting over a leopard gecko, don't climb all the way up my arm, please, buddy. Stay in your enclosure. The other animal I'm going to suggest, which in my experience is actually even more calm and tame than leopard geckos, which they're pretty chill, is the fat-tailed gecko. They look very similar, slightly different coloration and patterning. They do have been kept and bred much more in recent years, and there's actually some really cool morphs of them out there now. They do, just like the pink-tongued skink over the blue-tongued skink, they do prefer a little bit more humid of an environment than our leopard geckos, who again prefer the arid, grassland, drier climates. But they are just as, if not even more handleable than leopard geckos. So next time you're in search of a gecko, like a leopard gecko, why don't you try out the fat-tailed gecko? I think you'll be happy you did. I think you all know what this is right here. This is probably one of the most widely kept animals in the reptile hobby. It is, of course, a bearded dragon. As you can see, they do get pretty large. Adult male bearded dragons particularly can get in excess of 18, 20 inches or more. There are some bearded dragons that can get quite large, pushing close to 2 feet long. So if you're looking for something like a bearded dragon, but you can't take care of something this big, I suggest to you one of my personal favorites, Rankins dragons. They are all of the awesomeness of a bearded dragon, but they stay less than half the size. This is a subadult Rankins dragon. They will max out at 8 to 12 inches. They have, I think, just as much personality as bearded dragons. They have a lot of the same characteristics. They eat the same foods. They can just stay in an enclosure that is much smaller, so you don't have to have such a large enclosure because bearded dragons get big. They need big enclosures. You get animals half the size, you can get away with a slightly smaller enclosure for that animal. But they're going to eat the same foods, their greens, the bugs. They do need the UV and the heat lamps. They do still like it nice and hot. You're talking 110 plus degrees on the basking area, mid 80s on the cooler end. And they have all the personality of a bearded dragon. They have the chillness of a bearded dragon. And technically, yes, I know I will get comments because I've had this in other videos. This is technically a bearded dragon. They are the same family. Bearded dragon is Pagona viticeps. These guys are Pagona henrylawsoni. So they are related. They're obviously, but they are both from Australia. Next time you're looking for a bearded dragon, I think you should look for a Rankins dragon. They are a little bit harder to find than some of the other animals we've talked about. They used to be a lot more popular many years ago. As of recently, they have dwindled in their popularity, which is why I got them and started breeding them. So make sure to keep following along because next year we should hopefully have some more babies. We usually have at least 1 or 2 clutches a year of babies that we have for sale. So make sure you keep an eye. And next time you are looking for a dragon, go with the Rankins. Now, number 2 on this list is an animal that I don't personally have, but is an animal I hope to have in the future. It has been a dream animal of mine. I've been wanting to get this species for many, many years. So I'm sure every single one of you have heard of the ball python. That is the most commonly the most commonly kept snake probably in the world right now is ball pythons. They come in literally thousands of different color and pattern morphs. Awesome animals. Really cool, real docile, real chill. But an animal or a snake that I think is even a little bit cooler, they are smaller, is the children's python or the spotted python. They were different species at one point in time. A couple of years ago, a bunch of scientists got together and said, hey, I think these are one species. So now children's pythons, spotted pythons have been technically reclassified back into one species. A lot of breeders still keep their children's and their spotted pythons because there are slight differences that you can tell in them. But they average about 4 to 5 feet. They are much slenderer animal than ball pythons. Still just as chill as ball pythons. The spotted pythons get their name because they have spots on them. Children's pythons, not named because they stay small like children. Is actually named after the person who founded them. Can't remember his name, but his last name was Children. Thus the name Children's Python, because it was named after the person who founded them. So, next time you're looking for a ball python, go to the next table, find yourself a children's python or a spotted python. All right, that means we're down to number 1. So we're going to talk about one of my favorite turtle species this time. Also, I've always loved all turtles. I've been keeping turtles. They were my first pet reptile I ever got. It was a red-eared slider and a false map turtle. When I was 18 years old, I think, when I got my first pet reptiles from a pet shop in the mall. They were awesome animals. I had them for years and years. And now it's 25 years later. Wow. Jeez. It's 25 years later. I have never not once not had turtles in my collection. I love turtles. They're what got me into keeping reptiles in general. I've always loved them. I've always had them. They are awesome animals. That said, they are a lot to keep. They're not an animal that everybody should keep. They're not like keeping fish. They are way messier. They require a way larger enclosure because they require land and water. Fish obviously aren't going to get out of the water and chill in the sun. Your turtles need that. They also need UV lights and they need heat lamps. They need very, very, very good filtration because they make a big mess in their water. That's just what they do. So one of the most widely kept turtle species in the world, and an animal that is now invasive into every single continent in the world except Antarctica, where no reptiles can live because it's frozen ice year round, is the red-eared slider. And I, of course, do have many red-eared sliders. I have probably 7 or 8 red-eared sliders. I am a wildlife rehabber, so any red-eared sliders that have been found in the wild, which unfortunately does happen because, like I said, they're invasive everywhere. Even here in upstate New York, they do not naturally live here. They do live in the U.S., but they live in the southeastern part of the U.S. So if they are found roaming around the wild, they are brought to our rehab people and usually brought to me or one of our other turtle keepers. So that being said, red-eared sliders, a lot of people get them. They were those little quarter sized turtles that would be at flea markets and garage sales back in the 80s and 90s. They come in the little plastic dish. They had little palm tree next to them. If any of you are old enough to even know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But they get big. They start out as quarter-sized, cute little animals that you can buy for $1 or $2. They're still relatively cheap. They're probably one of the cheapest turtles. You can, if not giving away for free on Craigslist or Marketplace or any places like that, you can go to pet stores and buy them for $10, $15. You go to Reptile Expo, you can buy them for $10 a piece all day long. But they get big. An adult red-eared slider can get more than 14 inches. That's a big turtle. A turtle that big takes a lot of space. This right here is our indoor turtle pond. You can see all of our turtles are coming up to say hi to you guys right now. Red-eared sliders, you can see them. A lot of these have been given to me through the rescue. We also have a cooter over here, a couple of yellow belly sliders. They get big. Most people cannot take care of a red-eared slider when it's full grown, unless you have the space to keep a 150-gallon stock tank in your house somewhere, or a 100+ gallon fish tank for 1 or 2 of them. Probably red-eared slider isn't great for you. But there is an animal that I think is perfect for almost everyone. Let's go check it out. This right here is a Japanese Reeves turtle. And by the name, yes, they can be found in Japan, Taiwan, China, Korea. That whole corner of the world is where they're from. This right here is a full-grown adult Reeves turtle. They average 6 to 8 inches. They are absolutely gorgeous. I know some people may think, oh, it's bland looking, not really much color. But that dark coloration, even the entire skin tone of this turtle, I don't know if you guys can really even see it on camera. This is an absolute gorgeous animal. They are dark, almost black shell and skin. They're like a brownish olive color. Absolutely gorgeous. They are omnivores, very similar care to a red-eared slider. You're just going to need a much smaller enclosure. I mean, you could keep one of these guys in, I would still probably get a 75-gallon tank at least for them. They come from still moving waters. They prefer still moving waters. Out in the wild where they're from, you'll find them in slow moving lakes and marshlands and swamplands, rice paddies, that kind of area where the water isn't going to be moving a whole lot. They are omnivores as well, so they will eat everything from snails and fish and worms and crickets to floating vegetation. In captivity, you can give them greens, throw some greens in their water. They'll love a crayfish, a snail, crickets, throw them in once in a while. When I'm feeding like my dragons or my geckos, I'll throw a couple of crickets in the water and these guys will go after them. Absolutely love them. They are definitely not as widely available as a braided slider, and the price point is definitely not the same. You're going to spend more on a Reeves turtle, but if you're going to get a turtle, I think it's absolutely worth it. They are one of the coolest species out there. So next time you're looking for a turtle, look for a Reeves turtle. I know I said I was going to give you 5 of the best beginner pet reptiles. I feel like being generous today. I'm going to give you a 6th one. Unfortunately, I do not have this in my collection. Again, it is on my bucket list of animals to someday keep and hopefully breed. Everyone knows corn snakes. After ball pythons, corn snakes, king snakes, all of that kind of those kind of animals, probably one of the most commonly kept snakes after ball pythons. Again, corn snakes come in literally thousands of different color and pattern morphs, just like ball pythons. They are smaller. An average corn snake, again, is probably going to be between 3 and 5 feet long, but they're much slender. They're still just as chill. But another rat snake species that I think you should check out is the Mandarin rat snake. Get about the same size as a corn snake. Full-grown Mandarin rat snake is going to be between 3 and 5 feet. But the color on them and their patterns is one of the prettiest things I've ever seen on a snake, and it's their natural patterning. They have these light grays against these dark grays and bright yellows in this like diamond-shaped pattern all along their bodies. Awesome animals. They are fairly available at most larger reptile expos. Again, you will probably find at least 1 or 2 tables with these guys on there. If not, you go to Morph Market, you go to Fauna Classifieds, one of those online places where a bunch of breeders sell their animals. You're absolutely going to find Mandarin rat snakes on there. So next time you're looking for a corn snake, go check out a Mandarin rat snake. I think you'll be pleased. So that's a list of all of our top 5 beginner reptiles that you may have never heard of. Drop me a comment down below if you have heard of them, if you have kept them. Comment down below, tell me what your favorite animal out of this list is. If you've never kept any of these before, comment, let me know that too. After this video, are you going to be going and shopping for one of these lesser known awesome beginner reptiles instead of the more commonly kept ones? Let me know. For those of you that stuck around, you also know you got a little bonus in there with the Mandarin rat snakes. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. It means a lot to us. Also, I want to shout out my favorite of these animals, which is our Reeves turtles. Again, turtles have always had a special place in my life. They're my first pet reptile. They're awesome. I love turtles. If you can't tell, I speak about them a lot. If you watched our short, we just had a short earlier this week about Reeves turtles. So go check that out. Make sure to check back with us soon. We are going to be doing more of our zoo reviews, our 1-star animal facility reviews. We have a couple of zoos that we would like to go to very soon. Check out a poll. We have a poll going on our community tab for which zoo you want us to see next. If you have any other ideas of what zoos you would like to see, we are in New York looking for zoos around the New England area. If not, hit me up with zoos all over the country, wherever you're from. Drop a comment down below where you're from and a zoo near you that we could go check out. We do want to get all over the country. So let us know where you think we should go next. What is your hidden gem for a zoo? Or a zoo that may not have the best reviews, but you don't think they deserve such bad reviews? Let us know. We love checking out different places everywhere we travel all over the country. We try to hit a zoo wherever I go. So let us know what zoos we need to go see next. See you soon.